You too, Briarlyn here, and this is a rather spontaneous live stream, so I do apologize if you've been meaning to get in on a live stream. I didn't schedule this ahead of time. I only, about a half hour ago that I was going to go live. I don't know how long this is going to be. I don't know what I really want to talk about. But this is the first night in a very, very long time that I am essentially completely and utterly alone. My girlfriend is visiting her love in Canada. I won't say where in Canada, but it's close by Michigan. It's not too far in my mind. Away, and they turned in early for the night. I found it rather cute that she kept updating me on what was going on because it just, I don't know, she hasn't gotten to see him. Saw me in person. We've seen each other in person, I believe, 3 or 4 times. So, she's never seen him before. And I'm like, I know you love me. I don't doubt that you love me. You can just enjoy yourself. Enjoy this time away from family and away from the computer. Just be in the moment. I strongly believe in that. And I don't see anyone in chat yet, so I'm just going to keep on rambling. If nobody comes to chat, that's okay. We'll just make this a spontaneous video. And I can retitle it or what have you. Hear me, though. I was fiddling with my cards just now. So I hope that wasn't too terribly distracting. Well, I can try and put on more light. Yoga. Let's go into the living room. Better yet, the bedroom. I can get more light. With me, my darlings. Hello, B. Hello, Yoga. Hi, Pickle, darling. All right, let's move through my house. Very creepy, I know. There we are. So sorry about that. Here we go. Maybe this is a little better for you guys. A bit better. We'll probably get better sound in here as well, to be quite honest with you. My crafting room's notorious for phones, computer, everything. Yes, it did look a bit spooky, I admit. I'm a rather spooky person. Okay, good. It is better. Eventually, I'll learn how to not have these awkward silences while I'm waiting for a response. But that's all right. And yes, it is very late at night, because I do consider myself a sun worshiper, but I am a night owl. Conflicts in personality. Oh, yes. Yes, the dark is a wonderful way to disappear. And I do really like that for my ghost story videos, because it's not a campfire, but it's got the feeling of one. Ooh, I should take you guys camping with me sometime. You feel me, B. You feel me. Yeah, Mom has always pointed that out about my personality, that I'm always in the sunshine and then I'm in the night. I can't wake up before dawn though, because it's not light enough yet. Time of day I just struggle with. Cool. The reason why I say cool cats yoga bliss is because I have 3 cats, and among my friends and family, I'm known as the cat lady because I just adore cats. They've always been a love of mine even when I was small. I might move you guys a little bit. My legs don't like to be stuck straight out, and I also struggle to fold them. Just always been that way. Ah, but yeah. My love is away, my husband's at work, so I'm just spending a night alone with me, you guys, and the kitty cats. Oh, don't want to hit that. Aw, kitty cat. What's his name? I love knowing kitty cats' names. Probably because I watched way too much of the Cats musical growing up. Oh, my poor mother. Yeah, I definitely have sad. Every Actually, it usually kicks in around February through April is a really hard time for me here in Michigan. It's very gray. It's very wet. I know some people in the Midwest are familiar with the term, but gray winter or gray spring, excuse me, because the snow just holds on for so long. Oh, let me tilt the camera a little bit. Oh, Percy. Oh, that's adorable. Now, is that Percival? Is that named after Percival from Critical Role, or was it just a name that you stumbled upon? Because that's an amazing name for a kitty cat. I don't watch television. The internet is my entertainment and video games. So, ah, it's such an adorable, like, fancy cat name. I love that. Oh, Harry Potter. Okay. I'm a bad, bad witch. I have not read past the third book of Harry Potter. And I think I've only seen like the first and fourth movies. I never saw the whole series. I know. Take away my wand. I'm a hack, a has been. Oh, okay. King Arthur. I've actually just started reading into the Arthurian legends, and oh my gosh, talk about a rabbit hole. My husband's trying to like get in touch with his my husband's a sensitive, but only recently has he really started to work hard on learning the I'm trying to think of how to describe it. Like he's always seen things, he's always heard things and communicated with spirit, but he's only just learning how to protect himself from the spirits that he's afraid of. He's just learned that spirit that he's always called ghost girlfriend was a sister that he lost. She was miscarried. So that's kind of where we're at right now in the house. So he's digging into a whole bunch of things. I have my own stuff that I'm doing. It's a bit wild. Yeah, still talking about Harry Potter in the chat. Yeah, I don't know. Harry Potter just never really gripped me. I do want to watch Merlin though, bringing it back to King Arthur. I heard that's a really good show. Driving me nuts with Have you watched it yet? Have you watched it yet? I'm one of those people where, the planets have to align and the stars have to be just right for me to watch something. Slash show watcher. I just don't have the focus. But yeah, bringing it back to what we've been dealing with in the house, because I know people who might watch this stream later might ask about it or be curious. The house has gotten quieter. I've done at least 3 or 4 cleansings, and it wasn't because I wanted everything out. It was because there was something pushing back against this cleansing that was making me pretty, like, fed up. It's the best I can describe it. I was fed up. I went through a whole lot more cleansing than I normally would. I'm a person who believes that there is a time when we over cleanse, where we're like, this has to be cleaned, and this has to be cleaned, and this has to be cleaned. And we're not really doing anything other than cleaning. I once got into a spiral like that, and it lasted a good 6 months, that I could have been putting my energy towards my craft and actually doing my craft rather than just clearing the space for what I was going to do. So, so I've been doing a lot of cleansing. I've been doing a lot of trial and error with meditation, finding out what works for me, what doesn't. I just, before I went live, finished one of Molly Roberts, Her Speaks, one of her guided meditations. I hadn't done a guided meditation in a long time. And I thought, she really gets me in a space where I do feel relaxed and where I am more thoughtful and the noise in my head quiets down. I can really focus. So I decided to try one of her guided meditations, and it really did help me feel less unsure in my own home. Like, I felt like I cleansed myself tonight, which I've been cleansing my space, but not so much myself, and now I feel much better. Sorry, I've got to read back on chat. Yes, I did get Palo Santo wood recently, and I just walked through the apartment with it tonight, and that was one of the best experiences I've had thus far with cleansing. Like, I really felt like the energy, like, raise up and come through. Recently had bought a dragon's blood and lemongrass spray, and that's also been really awesome. And I love sweetgrass, I always have, but it kind of brought back that love, if that makes any sense. Like, it was like, oh, I forgot that I loved this. But when I was burning the Palo Santo and I came into the bedroom, I stayed in here for a while because it kind of felt like a down for a little bit. And then my eyes adjusted to the darkness, and I stayed a little bit longer, and then I felt it kind of pass. Just my eyes adjusting or what, but it was very nice. That was probably the most polite standoff, if that makes any sense. Like, it wasn't going to lunge at me, but there, very there, which is why I feel okay coming back into this space where I felt it. But again, it's a question of, is that spirit or is that fear? Because my family, we're on my dad's side, we're all legally blind. So when it comes to darkness, there has to be that conscious moment for me to go, okay, is this a fear of the dark? Like, feeling of something here. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's interesting how you can feel. when sorry again. When working in one place, yeah. One day I will have to try sage again. I just feel anytime I've tried it, like sage, I don't know if it's just too harsh or if it's too cleansing. I feel that it cleanses out everything and really stirs everything up into a shitstorm, but that's my personal experience. Yoga Bliss asks, what made you start your channel? What made me start my channel was actually random and Noah. I actually saw Noah's video first and then I watched Random's and that's when I subscribed to her. But it was Be the Witchy Change. Now, I had been watching YouTubers for a while. My first YouTuber witch, I'll specify. My first YouTube witch that I followed was Ember Honey Raven. So happy that she's like making videos. She could talk about, she could read names out of a phone book. If she was online and like making videos of that, I would sit and watch every single one. That would be my new guided meditation. Ember Honey Raven reading out of the phone book. But yes, I started the channel because of the Witchy Change. But it wasn't just because I was like, oh, I should put my knowledge out there. I felt so disconnected. Like I would comment down below, you know, their videos, and I would wait for a response. But making videos meant I got to be more open. I got to talk to other witches. I felt more comfortable going into live streams because I knew a little bit about how it feels to be on the other side of the camera. That really helped defeat a lot of anxiety and uncertainty. And I honestly treat as if I'm talking to a friend on the other side. Even when I do hauls, it's completely in the spirit of if my best friend was right here in front of me, how would I talk to that person? You know, my waifu lives in Grand Rapids. We've been friends since college, like my first year of college. So since I was 18, so almost 10 years. And so when I make a YouTube video, I act like I'm talking to her. Always. Do you like Kelly Ann Maddox? She is so smart. I only recently started watching her videos thanks to Arwen. Arwen's kind of my gateway drug into all the other witches that are out there. But I'm having the problem now where there's so much content that I don't know what to watch and when to watch it. Like I had to catch up on Joey's videos because I was so busy watching new YouTube channels, new to me. A lot of them have been in the game for quite a while, but they were new to me and I started like binge watching. And then I realized that I was neglecting other channels that I had been watching. And again, I'm sorry if this camera is shaky. It's because of how I'm to see, because I want to see chat. Yes, there's so many channels now. So many channels, so little time. If I honestly, if I could have videos playing in the background while I was at work, I'd probably do that. But where I work is my coworkers themselves probably wouldn't mind. They'd probably find it really interesting, but the owners are like strict Catholics. And I was so afraid that one of my coworkers was going to get fired today because he dropped the F-bomb while the owners were there. And the owner's wife came in and just gave him an earful. I don't, when the owners are there, I don't talk about being a witch, obviously. But among my coworkers, like we've been talking about spirits and we've been talking about crystals, and I'm trying to think of all the things, just crystals. And today we were talking about like how raspberries are really good for indigestion. or cramps, they are fantastic because I was feeling a little sick to my stomach. I've been having that every now and then, and I think next week, if it keeps up, I'm gonna go to a doctor. But we had raspberry pie there, so I helped myself to a piece of that, and I felt so much better. It could have been the sugar. I will fully admit it could have been the sugar, but it's like packed with raspberries. And I said, "Oh, yeah, I feel better now because I had some raspberries." So then we chit chatted about that, like natural remedies. I do strongly believe that modern medicine is here for a reason, but there's nothing wrong with trying herbal remedies first. And raspberries are just delicious anyway. So I feel like I've been away from making videos for so long, and it was only a week, and now since then I've uploaded a video every single day, even though I'm tired from work. Work is going well though. I'm very happy with my job. I'm happy with the people I work with. It's a fantastic time. Even if they weren't all into the like witchy scene, like they're not witches, they don't identify as such. But it's interesting to see how the practice, how the craft has bled into society as a whole. Like we're not isolationists anymore. It's out. Witchcraft works. I'm trying to remember which live stream it was where they were talking about, I think it was yesterday with Raven and I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry, Ravenflower. And this other lovely lady. Her name starts with a K, I believe. I'm sorry, my memory is rotten sometimes when it comes to names, specifically names. um, yes, I need that on a bumper sticker now. Witchcraft works. Talking about how most people don't understand it as witchcraft, but folk magic is very strong. Oh, I'm so sorry about your back. Yes, Kelly and Maddox. Okay, thank you. Yeah, when they were talking about that, I was like, so true. Because where I live is very much Germanic and Polish. Gods, do we have Poles? When I was in college, I actually tried very hard to find books about Polish folk magic because my husband's Polish. Like his grandmother was half, his mother was over a quarter. They would always say quarter, but she had Polish on her father's side as well. They just didn't like talking about him, and I don't blame them. Yeah, it's Kelly Ann Maddox with her wit and her accent. We are very blessed in the witchy community for accents, definitely. Everybody feels real self-conscious about where they're from and their own accents. Oh, the Kindred Witch? Okay. See, my mind is just like, oh yeah, that sounds right. We'll go with that. I'm so sorry, y'all. Thank you for fact checking me, B. But no, I did try very hard because Gran was half Polish, or was it whole? Oh my gosh, I'm confusing myself. She was whole. I'm getting that very strongly right now. Like, no, no, it was whole. I was completely Polish. My daughter was half, and my grandson is a quarter. Okay, then. Got it. Thank you, Gran. So Again, there's all this Polish energy in my life. I don't know about my heritage so much. Like, I know parts of my heritage. On the Lettich side, my grandma Smith's side, her maiden name is Lettich. On her side, I have the Lettich family all figured out. Like, I know the Lettich side of the family. The problem with grandpa's side, my grandpa Smith, is great grandma Hazel didn't want anybody to know who she was, where she was from. You know, she didn't want any of that information out in the world. I don't know that much about his side of the family. I understand that my great grandfather was also a very secretive man. Oh, we've got a new face. The Chan. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I can't read very well. Let's see. The Chanshe? If I said your name wrong, love. Oh, and good night, Yoga Bliss. And yeah, it's been chat party lately, hasn't it? Oh, but yeah, so I don't know my grandfather's side that well. I only just started doing the crone and hunter side, which is my mother's side of the family. And as I can tell so far, they're mostly German. There's a lot of German blood. Although my grandma Crone swears up and down that her side of the family, the Hunters, are descended from Mary Queen of Scots. I won't know how true that is until I save up the money. Because when they were having the chat tonight with, oh goodness, everyone butchers poor Alex's channel's name. But Alex was chatting with Ravenflower, and they were talking about ancestry. I'm like, oh my gosh. Because ever since he has made that video about sending out his wonderful spit, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I have to spit for like a drug test, like anything, my mouth goes completely dry. So that's going to be fun when I get around to doing that. But I want to do that because there's so much of, oh, we're related to, you know, such and such famous person and such famous person. And I'm like, I don't really care about famous people, if I'm being honest. I just want to know where my blood is from. Because there are rumors in my family that, you know, we're Native American on this part, and we've got Irish on this part, and we've got Scottish here. And I just don't know. I want to know what's going on. Thank you, yes. Wonder, Weirdness, and Witchcraft. It's a beautiful name when you type it out, but when you try to say it, we all get tongue-tied. I'm sorry, Alex. I'm so sorry. Wonder, Weirdness, and Witchcraft. YouTuber I could just listen to for days. And it's not just because he has an Australian accent, it's specifically Alex's that I just zero in on. Like, yes, tell me everything. And he makes me feel better because he has audio skips all the freaking time. Tonight's was interesting though. Like, it was specifically when he was talking about certain ancestors where all the audio would get all screwed up. Oh no, yeah, they were on the wrong side of history. Isn't that what we all are nervous about? That's what we're all like, oh no, please give me some good news about my ancestors. And then you find out something like that, and you're like, darn it. I like how Arwen's like, yeah, we were related to one of the bad kings, you know, one of the downers. I just, and I know that when you're in chat, like everybody's at a different point. So if you do like catch on to something that I say It takes a while. Don't worry, I will come back to it. It's one of the wonders of ADHD brain. If somebody asks me a question, I can usually go right back into the conversation where I started. But so much of both sides of my family, like, they've tried to keep certain things hush hush. Like, there's still the question I have of Donald Crone was the older brother, and his, the Crone family are all a bunch of farmers, and he was the older brother, but he didn't inherit the farm. So they the two brothers, only one of them got the farmlands, and then the other became a beer truck driver. And I've always wanted to know the story behind that. So finally I asked my mom, I said, why didn't grandpa take over the farm? Did he not want to be a farmer? And she said, I don't know the full story. There is a big falling out with that side of the family for a while. After, my great grandparents had passed away, there was a dispute over the farm, and his younger brother got it. So one side of my family is a whole bunch of farmers, and then the other side of the family is a whole bunch of city folk, basically. Like, even though we live in tiny little Bad Axe, most of my grandfather's children, so my aunts and uncles, have moved around the country, or at the very least the state, and have urbanized themselves. So it was kind of like our family was dividing itself right then and there. Oh, that's interesting. So my family took their last name, changed it, and used the old surname as a middle name up to your generation. Oh, okay. That's really interesting. I love it when families do that kind of thing. It makes it hard to research what's going on. Don't get me wrong. Like, that has to be like a nightmare to try and dig through. Huh. My husband and I were talking about names because we're going through a thing right now where we're in a time of transition. We'll put it that way. No, nothing's positive yet, okay? But we're in that mindset, okay? So we were talking about names, and I said, well, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack from my family for this, but I said I really liked how Grandma Hazel had two middle names for her children. And I loved her reasoning too. Just if they got in trouble with the law, they could just switch a name. Amusing. But like in a good way, not like, oh, that's just funny, those wacky ancestors. But it's more in humor about it. But I also understand that she wanted to protect her children through this way. Aw, that's a shame that the name's dying out. I don't think we should always be married to the past, but I think it's fun and a good way to tie it together if you hold on to some things. Which again is why I kind of want to have the two middle names, because A, that makes deciding on names a little easier because I'm indecisive. Oh, geez. Well, one moment, folks. Sorry about this. And boop. Ah, there we go. Yeah, names are very important. I definitely agree. Names are important. I think it's good to A, pick a name not gonna be A name that A can be pronounced. All right. My full name is very difficult for people to pronounce. You know what? I will. I've got to pull it close, so I'm sorry if I make anyone sick. There we go. Thank you, B. I really appreciate it. It was only a matter of time, right? Enjoy your new position of excellent power. Yeah. I'm not going to share my true name right here and now, but it's not the standard pronunciation for a name. Oh, it's okay, Dachan. It's okay because my husband, they swore up and down that he was going to be a little girl. So his whole bedroom was pink. Everything he had to wear was pink. Oh, and so yes, that was Pickle. That was Little Pickle. Speaking of names, give your cat a good name. Percy, Pickle. I'm a fan of all the P names for kitties. But yes, um, oh, where was I? Oh yes, names. Like and genders. Like they told them that my brother was or my husband. Ooh, that's a scary one. But my husband was a girl. So he had all these lovely pink frilly things in his bedroom for a good long while. And then they were surprised when he took that and just kind of ran with it as he got older. Yeah, he was in pink for a good long while. A younger brother, there's three of them. There's three brothers. The youngest, he he was born 9 months after my husband, so then they both had like boys' clothes at that point. Boys' clothes. With more blue and greens. But what was funny to me when TJ got older, and I met him, we met in 7th grade. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. T I can say TJ because it could stand for anything, but his two names, literally his mom was just desperate at that point. So she kind of just grabbed whatever names sounded all right together. And then he merged it to be TJ because he hated both of them. But now that he's older, like the first like big date I can remember us going on because we're not real fancy people. So our first true, honest to God, fun date, Rocky Horror Picture Show, and that has become a yearly thing. We go every July. The local theater has the original reel. Just go ham on it. The glitter, the sparkles. He has a sparkly blue dress he wears every year. And we just go to town, and he is just so happy in that dress. He's got other ladies' clothes that he likes to wear. What's really funny is we both have the same pant size. So sometimes before he goes to work, he's in a rush. Every pair of pants is on top. Well, a lot of times my pair of pants ends up on top. Yeah, at least they had options, right? But yeah, my husband will grab my pair of jeans and put them on and go to work, and his coworkers will tease him, "What, were you feeling extra sparkly today?" Because women's jeans tend to have the bedazzled butt. And he'll just go, "Yeah, I really felt like this place needed a little feminine touch." So here I am. Reasons I love him. He's such a sweetheart. Takes so many things in stride or twists them around to amuse himself. He's wonderful. I think I'm just gonna keep this going until 11. Excuse me, until 12:30. So we'll keep it at an hour. Sound all right, guys? Because I know it's awfully late for some of you. I'll probably stay up until 2 to greet my husband when he gets home. But ah, pretty resilient guy. Oh yes, he's always just. That's one of the things that drew me to him when we were in high school together. It was just such a vibrant soul. I can't see auras, but he always feels like he's too depressing and he's too negative and all this other thing. It's like, no, hon, you got a rainbow inside you. You're so vibrant when you let yourself be. Oh man, to the oil fields, that must have been real fun. Guys are bad enough. I can only imagine. Although I will say that up here we have windmills. If you're not familiar with Huron County in Michigan, there was a big debate last week over whether we should have more windmills or not, and it got shot down. But we're surrounded by windmills. And a lot of the guys that work on the windmills, or the Carolinas, for some reason, those two states, like, I don't know if windmills are a big thing. Son, my love. Hello. I'm not sure what time it is for you. Oh, good. Yes, take a picture. Work those jeans. But yay, Wayward Son is here. And my voice is cracking. Oh no. Oh no. Ah, we're just talking about pretty boys and pretty jeans. I don't know. Somebody's got to be able to rock women's jeans because some days, I don't know. Some days it's a struggle to fit into those puppies. Even if you have the right size, like something always doesn't fit right. Like it might fit in the butt and the thighs, but you're like swimming down below. My pants hemmed, it just feels like the bottom half of my legs are just swimming. At home from Arizona. That's gotta be quite a difference living where you do. Like Arizona to Misty Mountains. Yeah, no. Women's jeans are not super comfortable. Oh, thank you. Yes, this is actually my pajamas because it's so soft. But yes, Pac-Man's good. One of the only arcade games I was any good at growing up. Also, the bowling game that's like in every single bar ever. I'm good at that too. I have never been to the Southwest. It's a dream to go down there. And not just because Arwen lives there. Although that's a good strong point in the Southwest favor. Is I want to go there more as an artist because I just hear the color there. You have not seen color until you go to the Southwest in the desert. That's what everybody keeps telling me. Inky Blinky on the other one, but yes, and then Clyde. That always made me laugh as a kid. That one's just Clyde. Speaking of picking names that, actually fit. Also, I had to laugh when my cousin, we grew up together, we were the same age and we were in the same class. Well, she moved to North Carolina and married her high school sweetheart, and they recently had a baby about a year ago. For me, that's recently. They had a baby a year ago, and they didn't name him like anything soft, is what I would call it. Like, they named their baby Frank, not Franklin, just Frank. And I laughed so hard because I used to call her my Barbie doll cousin. Flawless makeup, and her clothes were just so. And I loved her, and I love her still. But she was very much, when we were in high school, about image. And just for her to give a baby such a harsh name like Frank, it just amused me to no end. Oh, wow. The wave. Ooh, one day I'll go. 20 people. Wow. Is it because they're afraid of like people really messing up the site? Because I know that's a big thing for a lot of landmarks, like and treasured landmarks, is they don't want like people graffitiing everything or taking pieces of it home. Like in Gettysburg, that's a big problem, I guess, that they have on the buildings. Like people like, chip off a chunk of a building. I'm like, I know you're excited and you want to have a souvenir, but pick up a stone in a field in Gettysburg for cripe's sake. Don't be like chiseling off of actual buildings. That just gets my hackles all up because it's a historical site and we want it to be around for people 100 years from now to still be able to enjoy these sites. I could go into politics, but I'm not going to. But on a personal, like individual level, just if you're going to a sacred site, be respectful of the buildings there. Be respectful of the people who live there, who work there, who are there every day and have to deal with this stuff. And be respectful of the generations that will come later. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's during he was mentioning a place in Utah called the Wave, where they only allow 20 people per day to go in because it's made of sandstone, so it's really fragile and they don't want it destroyed. And that's exactly what I thought it was about. Ooh, linky linky. I will check that out after this stream. I'm a Sagittarius and we just got to fill out our little journal of all the places we want to go see. Because, yeah, we might have multiple lifetimes, but we want to see it all now in this lifetime. Instant gratification. Let's go. Sag, even before I knew anything about astrology, I was like, I'm a Sag, and I was proud of it. Actually, the first tattoo I ever wanted was going to be Sagittarius glyph on the back of my neck. And I might still get that. I'm still sorely tempted to get the arrow. I keep changing my mind on exactly what design of arrow, so I haven't done it yet. 10 online permits and 10 in person. It's a lottery every day. Ooh, my luck is good, but I don't know if it's that good. That's okay. Even if I can't see that, there's a lot of other wonders in the world. But yeah, get an astrological tattoo. But first, I started with my Halloween sleeve. So send her, I purposely had it done that way. And I want to know why? Because then I can do this. I can give him a kiss. That's exactly why I had him put off center. I'm not even kidding. But I felt so bad. It got scratched the other day. One of my kitties got playing and used me as a jumping off post. Scratched the poor thing. And Noah, if you watch this at any point in time, you gotta get that tattoo, man. Inky, yes. Wayward Son, yes. All the ink. I couldn't find a tattoo parlor when we were in Gettysburg. I'm sure they existed, but we were only there for 3 days. Schedule. We didn't get a chance to find a place to get a tattoo. But one day, I guys don't know, is one of my favorite places in the whole wide world. I got to go when I was a junior, so I was 17, and I swore to my husband that we'd go again. And when we got married in 2014, we took our honeymoon in 2015 in Gettysburg. And he agreed. He's like, we have to come back. And I was shocked because, again, he's sensitive. So I thought, oh no, I'm taking him to Gettysburg, one of the most locations in America, definitely in northern, the northern part of the United States. Oh no, I'm taking him to this place with all these dead people. But he had a grand time. I think he was a little overwhelmed at first, but when he really started to feel the energy and understand who's alive, who's not, who's here, more at ease. And he goes, everybody talks about the old ghosts that are in Gettysburg. Nobody talks about the new ghosts. It's what was throwing him off. What he was seeing people who, even though they weren't there for the Civil War, still felt a strong enough connection to Gettysburg. Whether it was because they lived and worked there or because they had visited once and it was a place of happiness and like excitement for them, he kept feeling like more modern day, or at least from the 19th or the 20th century versus the 19th century there. He said that was the weird part. Like, we'd be going on a ghost tour and he'd go to talk to somebody next to him and there's nobody there. Somebody like in a ski jacket or some kind of modern clothing. So he would get really shook up on occasion because somebody who was there for everybody else. And when we visited the cemetery there, like the national, like there's 2 cemeteries. One is for those who, fought and died at Gettysburg. A lot of them fought, lived through the battle, later died, and had a stone put up. But my husband we were walking through this national cemetery, and he says, I don't feel anything here. It's so weird. I don't feel the dead here. And we rounded a corner, I kid you not, and there's the National Cemetery, and then there's the public cemetery right next to it. Well, we rounded a corner and we could see them past the trees, the old cemetery, like the public cemetery. And my husband stares at it for a good long while, and he said that's where all of them are buried. They're not buried here, they're buried over there, and nobody pays respects over there. I said, you're probably right. Like, because when you go to Gettysburg and you go to the National Cemetery and you see all these little blocks, like they're so tightly packed. Hey, because back in that time, cremation wasn't a big thing. You had the whole body and you buried it. Well, when you go to the National Cemetery, there's like very small lots, and there's no way you could bury a whole person like lengthwise or widthwise. So if you do visit Gettysburg and you are looking to pay your respects to the deceased who are interred in Gettysburg, go to the public cemetery. And a little extra bit of info on that. I tried and tried and tried to take a picture of the public cemetery, and it was the only tech problem I had the entire visit, the entire 3 days. This was the only tech problem I had, was trying to take a picture of the public cemetery behind the National Cemetery. Spirit wouldn't let me take a picture, but my husband started laughing because he knew I was frustrated because I couldn't get the picture to take. And he's like, hun, when we're in public, a lot of times he'll go, hey, wife, and I'll reply, what husband? And I have had so many people giggle over that when we're in stores together. But anyway, he goes, what husband? Don't bother trying to take a picture. They're not going to let you. And so I stopped trying to take one. And I was like, okay, fine, they win. Ah, well, thank you all for listening to me ramble for a good half hour. It was wonderful to see you, Wayward Son, B. And thank you, Babe, for becoming one of my wrenches. I really appreciate that. And thank you to Dechen and Yoga Bliss, who dropped by as well. You guys are all wonderful. And hopefully soon, I'm going to shoot for Tuesday because I have that day off. I'm going to shoot for Tuesday to do a daytime stream. Of the people who aren't night owls. But for now, I'm going to wrap this up. My voice is getting a little raw, and Pickle is crying because I am not giving her my undivided attention. And next time I come on, I'll, try and think on a topic. As you guys can probably tell if you're familiar with my channel, though, I do love talking about spirits and ghosts. Before I came to the craft, I was really big into that, and it's continued into my craft. So plan on that for Tuesday. If anybody watches this later or is watching now and you have questions or anything else, we'll do that next time during the day. So, yes, and good night to you too. Good to see all you guys. And remember, be good to each other, y'all.